Earth signs, what's up? Thank you for tuning in to the Pearlwood channel. Today, I'm here to chat with you about Saturn retrograde and the rest of July. Saturn went to retrograde on July 13th, 2025. It stationed direct in the sign of Aries, and it'll retrograde through Aries back into Pisces. And Saturn stays retrograde for about 4.5 months every year. So from July 13th until November 27th, Saturn will be retrograde. So from now and the end of Cancer season until November 27th, which is the beginning of Sagittarius season. So I just wanted to share just a quick vibe, quick message for you all, for all Earth signs, Earth placements, any placement that matters to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a message for you guys about Saturn retrograde. Earth sign folks, Saturn retrograde of the year 2025. It says, let go. Let go of negative people and toxic beliefs. Your time on earth is precious. Invest it wisely and be mindful of who you spend time with. Yes. All right. Earth signs, Earth placements. This Saturn retrograde is a good time for you to reevaluate your time. All right, you guys are literally on a collective level, whether you recognize it or not, whether people around you recognize it or not, you are literally the meat and potatoes, the foundation, the piping, the beams, when you're building a house, you guys are the foundation. So, while this is up your alley, as literal physical embodiments of structure, time, the material world, you guys can be so caught up in it that you don't really recognize it. So you can look at this time as a grace period for the self to take a review of, what am I really doing? Am I really embodying what I need to? And since you're getting the card let go, you're carrying too much. Okay. And I can say, if you're aware and know how, you can look into your specific Earth placement, and that can probably tell you on a more precise level where you're probably carrying way too much that is just not needed anymore. The birds are chirping. And let go of your raggedy habits. Maybe you need to wake up earlier. Maybe you need a better sleep cycle. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. And I shoot back. Alright, how can my earthy folk, how can they best utilize this energy of the Saturn retrograde? Two cards. Yeah, the Saturn retrograde, it's y'all need it. This is what it seems. Two cards. 12th house, introspection. It is number 50. And Imam Koli, which is also the 4th house. But this is a more specific point, the Imam Koli, the IC. The key word on this is root. So it is time to look within the self and reevaluate your roots. Let go of negative people and toxic beliefs. It's time to really look within and really see who or what, you've let take root into the most intimate parts of yourself. And then really, really do some grooming of your inside world. Because I'm sure many of you are finding that some things need to be uprooted. Maybe they just need to be replanted, repotted so they can get better, or they just might need to be completely removed overall. Only you know. I'm always going to advocate to trust yourself first. 50, 5 and 0. 5 is associated with change, travel, pent-up energy. Conflict. And then 0 is like the cosmic void. So definitely you're being called to journey within. Utilize the energy to give yourself grace enough to go within and really get to the root of who you are based off who you've been, based off who and what you are today, and who do you want to become after you've gathered all this knowledge of the self. Alright, I'm going to read from the guidebook for you guys. If your chart were a village map, the 12th house would be a quiet place. The sun is in the 12th house just after sunrise, a time for prayer and meditation, for dreaming our deepest dreams. The 12th house is your inner child's world, containing both the fairyland into which you might escape and the monsters that live under your bed. The 12th house is associated with Pisces, and Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces, into the later degrees of Pisces. So, action, introspect. This situation is complex, so learn what's going on behind the scenes before you act. Look for private motives, hidden enemies, and surprise angels. Take time alone to develop an idea or listen within. The 12th house speaks of both who you are when no one's looking and the fact that your fate is inextricably linked to every other sentient being. Work with this metaphor. We are all cells in the body of the divine. It's essential that you take care of yourself, your individual cell, and you honor who you are. but you must also acknowledge that you work within an organism, i.e., your family and culture, which operates within the body of all creation. If you just take care of yourself and disregard the rest, you become a cancer that brings illness to that great body. If you deny your individuality, you can't do what you were born to do. Both realities are clear and true. You do exist independently, and you are part of the collective. It's just a perspective shift. It's impractical to get lost in oneness, whether in spiritual bliss or over-identification with your group, and neglect your individual health. But it can be spiritually painful to feel stuck in the isolated, single-cell mindset. Spiritual practice can help you find a healthy midpoint between a disconnected, lonely state and a state of connection. Connection to one another, to a cause, or to the divine. Grounding helps you return to your personal path. Challenges. It can be hard to find a healthy place between feeling subsumed by a group and dwelling in a stunted isolation. The 12th house asks you to face your fears. Gift. In quiet moments of prayer, meditation, and creative bliss, feel that deep connection to the source and know you are not alone. I feel like I literally said all of that in the beginning. And also, just looking at the pictures of the cards, whether you're into it now or not, you need to get into energy work. You need to learn about the flow of energy through what are called the chakras, okay? But there are lots of other systems that speak on allowing energy to flow through the body and flow through the self fully. All right, now let's get to the Imam Koli. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. Imagine your spine extends down into the earth like a taproot, the strong central root under a tree, through the earth to a point on the sun's path below. Latin for bottom of the sky, the Imam Koli, or IC, points to the memories and experiences that fed your first roots, your early home life, your family's traditions, and your biological and emotional heritage. Action. Look to the roots. Think about what makes you feel at home and secure, what creates sanctuary for you. Investigate the foundations and become conscious of the traditions and assumptions that underlie the situation. Lean into habits that help you feel secure and grounded. If you enjoyed your childhood, family traditions can help you feel safe and strong in a storm. If you grew up in chaos, you may crave the opposite, and so you create your own quiet sanctuary. If you grew up around arguments, arguing with people at home may seem normal to you. But that may not be the case for your housemates, so you may need to learn to present your points in a more transformative, less combative way. The IC also speaks of deeper roots, the spiritual, religious, or philosophical underpinnings of your early life. Just as a fish doesn't notice the water it swims in, it can be hard to see the spiritual assumptions you swam within as a child. These philosophical underpinnings could give you a deep connection to spirit or leave you feeling restricted or judged. Whether they imbued you with unconscious habits or were that from which you rebelled, until you examine those deep roots, they will define your foundational paradigm. Challenge. Unconscious patterns from your personal history may underline the situation and need excavation. Gift. Build roots of your own. Feel your spine extend like a deep taproot of a tree into the ground. Feel the strength of the earth pulsing up through you, holding you strong through any storm. Sweet. And then just a message for the rest of July 2025. The card spoke of nourishment and creating a sanctuary for the self. That is definitely the foundational vibe of Cancer energy. So knowing what nourishes you will help you in shining in your own unique way. Alright, what do my earthy folk need to know for the rest of July 2025? Calendula, purity, number 1. It's associated with the sun. Calendula, innocence, childlike joy, humility, purity, new beginnings, trusting in life. Reversed, broken innocence, lack mindset, inability to access manifestation, resistance to new beginnings. Guidance, calendula resembles the sun, a radiant, bright yellow or orange flower. It grows easily and spreads its joyful self across gardens, symbolizing the gesture of universal abundance. Solar herbs are those that neutralize poison and air in the recuperation of vital forces. Calendula's gentle and abundant power remind us of the realms of light. To be allowed entry within these angelic realms requires childlike innocence and humility. Don't allow pain from the past to disable your ability to dream a new life. Calendula represents the pure impulse to create, vitality and creativity needed to step into a new journey. The radiance of calendula is a superconductor. Be very aware and selective with your intentions when using her energy within a ritual, as she greatly amplifies your intentions.